Support comes from Mosby Building Arts, a design-build company committed to remodeling the right way. Visit callmosby.com to get project inspiration for any room of your house.
From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Wednesday, August 7th. I'm Wayne Pratt. Ahead, the former leader of the National Geospatial-Intelligence Agency, Robert Cardillo, is now working to help grow the industry in St. Louis.
Whether you're looking at it from an environmental perspective or urban development or national security, geospatial brings all of those issues together.
St. Louis Public Radio's Corinne Ruff speaks with Cardillo about the future of geospatial technology in the St. Louis area. First, the news. 2 Democrats have won special elections for open St. Louis County Council seats. As St. Louis Public Radio's Jason Rosenbaum reports, yesterday's victories by Kelly Dunaway and Rita Days mean a changing of the guard on the council.
Days defeated Republican Sarah DeVoley with more than 80% of the vote, and Dunaway bested Republican Amy Pelker by more than 20 percentage points. With Days and Dunaway's victories, Democrats now control the St. Louis County Council. But Dunaway noted that partisan affiliation isn't usually a barrier for cooperation in county politics.
And I would like to believe, and I have a great hope, that no matter how progressive or conservative each member of the county council is, that we will be able to find places where we can agree and start from that point in working together.
The council will have a majority of female members for the first time since the end of 2010. I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
Members of the St. Louis County Council will focus on eliminating pay-to-play politics. That's a statement from County Executive Sam Page, and it came during last night's council meeting. It was the first session since federal prosecutors released a pre-sentencing memo calling for former County Executive Steve Stenger to receive the maximum sentence for participating in corruption schemes. Page says although county voters passed several campaign finance charter amendments last year, more can be done.
We'll be talking more about ethics reform, and I'll be bringing those proposals to the county council.
Council members yesterday also passed an ordinance to prevent elected officials from collecting a pension if convicted of a felony committed while in office. Leaders believe it will affect Stenger, who is slated to be sentenced on Friday. Some cities in northern Missouri are receiving energy from a new source: pig manure. As St. Louis Public Radio's Eli Chen reports, hog producer Smithfield Foods recently built a natural gas pipeline from one of its farms to the city of Milan.
Many of Smithfield's farms store pig waste inside large lagoons. Craig Westerbeek oversees renewable energy production at Smithfield Foods. He says they capture the methane or natural gas that's released when bacteria eat the organic matter in the lagoons.
It really involves covering lagoons at these farms and capturing the gas that is typically not captured.
Westerbeek says building pipelines is better than having trucks haul natural gas to neighboring towns. Smithfield aims to reduce a quarter of the natural gas emissions it produced in 2010 by 2025. Milan is the third northern Missouri city to receive gas from Smithfield Foods through a pipeline. The company plans to build more of them in the state. I'm Eli Chen, St. Louis Public Radio.
Robert Cardillo decided to bring the National Geospatial-Intelligence Agency's new West headquarters to North St. Louis. Crews are set to break ground later this year. While Cardillo is no longer the head of that federal intelligence agency, he's not leaving the industry or the area. Cardillo is now a distinguished geospatial fellow at St. Louis University's Research Institute and is working to bring together the NGA, academic researchers, corporations, and civic leaders to boost the geospatial industry. St. Louis Public Radio's Corinne Ruff spoke with Cardillo and asked him why people should care about location intelligence.
Geospatial is quite literally and figuratively everywhere. Where you are, where you're going, how you're moving from one place to another, where you live, and your quality of life, all ties back to location.
So your job now is to help envision not only the geospatial growth for the NGA, but for the region at large here in St. Louis. Why is geospatial set up to grow in St. Louis?
Now with entities like Cortex, the Innovation Center, and T-Rex standing up with Geosaurus, with large entrepreneurs like Enterprise Car Rental Company and Andy Taylor, literally investing and taking that locational data that can be rather disparate and elevating it into that geospatial ecosystem so that we can make better decisions and understand our planet. Whether you're looking at it from an environmental perspective or urban development or national security, geospatial brings all of those issues together.
So I wondered if you thought about St. Louis as being sort of a geospatial ecosystem, and if the NGA, the new headquarters here, was just one step toward that.
When I landed on North St. Louis as the designated site, it was premised upon a bet that the federal government would make in an area that at the time, 3 years ago and even today, doesn't have the ecosystem around it. I was confident about that when I made the decision on the return on that investment. I'm more confident today. And the reason I'm so optimistic is because what I've seen. I've seen civic leaders. I've seen industrial leaders. I just left the mayor's office again, and it is a palpable, tangible reality that's coming to the fore.
So of course, you're talking about the new headquarters, which will break ground later this year. And a lot of people in the city view this as a real positive push for development in a part of the city that has been underdeveloped for a very long time. But I also wonder, what about those residents in that area who feel they might be outpriced or overlooked?
Look, I have similar concerns. So we did a geocache program last year with an elementary school. It was a geospatial trivia game. The winning team came to visit us at 2nd Street, and these are 5th graders. And I remember meeting Zion. I told Zion about the new campus, and I said, well, it'll be at the corner of Jefferson and Cass. And he said, oh, I live just down the street. Will you have bike racks? And I said, for you, Zion, we're putting bike racks in because I want you to be able to ride your bike down the street. To your question, though, Zion's family has to be able to afford to live down the street. So we absolutely want to move into the neighborhood, not move the neighborhood out. To be clear, there's little NGA can do about that other than to encourage that conversation.
NGA and national intelligence is only one piece of geospatial. Here in St. Louis, we're seeing people use this technology to find where to plot their urban farms here or how to reduce poaching of animals. I sort of wonder how broad you view this technology and the uses for it.
As we become more connected, and we are, the world gets a little more transparent. Now, I realize that this is a double-edged proposition. Transparency can be a good thing if you want to make sure food gets to the right part of a struggling population. Also in America, we value privacy. So transparency has that other edge about, what do you mean they can see me or sense this and whatnot? I think the upside, the benefits of what I call radical transparency far outweigh the potential misuse.
That's former head of the NGA and current Distinguished Geospatial Fellow at St. Louis University, Robert Cardillo, speaking with St. Louis Public Radio's Corinne Ruff about the future of geospatial technology in the region. Our Maria Altman edited that piece. Shula Newman is the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt, and from the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this has been The Gateway.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.